What's good? It's your esoteric Essa, aka your esoteric homegirl Jasmine. Welcome to the YouTube channel if you are new, and if you are returning, what is good? I'm doing some, this is me greeting you. This video, I want to focus mainly on this new deck that I purchased over at Liberate Hollywood. We're going to title this an unboxing of Oracle cards just for the sake of it, so we can logically understand what the hell I'm trying to creatively do with this video. So for those of you who have no clue about me, listen y'all, I have been obsessed with Sir Nostradamus since I was very young. My grandmother used to buy me books upon books for me to read and educate myself on who this French astronomer and astrologist, seer, intuitive, you could call him a wizard, who he was and his contributions to humanity. Long story short, I think he truly is someone who was able to channel spirit and channel at a time in which it was far beyond anyone's understanding and just comprehension. Anyways, this is an Oracle deck that I purchased, okay, at Liberate Hollywood, located in Hollywood, California. And I was just mesmerized because I've never seen anything on Nostradamus in terms of tarot or Oracle. I also found it to be hilarious because the universe does synchronicities, aka coincidences, and I thought it was hilarious because the publisher is Lo Scarabeo, probably butchering it, but that means scarab, and scarab is a beetle, the scarab beetle, okay? Beetles, some of you already know, are one of my spirit guide messengers. And prior to me purchasing this deck, which was not too long ago, a few weeks ago, I have been getting so many beetle messengers, different types of beetles, and a lot of them have been showing up in my house. Anyways, I thought, okay, I didn't even realize that until I brought this deck home, and I knew, okay, this is absolutely a deck that has chosen me by the divine. So let's do an unboxing. The artwork, the illustrations, so dope. The gold foil. I am all about being flamboyant. I'm very, I guess you could say, gaudy with my jewelry and the way I express myself in terms of the way I dress. Okay, so let's look. This deck is, I believe, only 30 cards. Yes, 30 cards if I remember correctly. So this is the outside of the deck. I've already cleansed it and tuned it, I guess you could say, and put my energy into it. I've already started working with this wonderful deck for this full moon in Capricorn. I used it to provide oracle messages for the full moon in Capricorn for my Patreon community. For those of you who aren't aware, I do have a Patreon community. You can find me Esoteric Essa, where I provide a lot of esoteric resources, excuse me, and I provide a lot of oracle readings and tarot readings for my members. So I want to show you the illustrations and just how beautiful the deck is. I mean, this gold foil doesn't even pop up as beautiful as it does in person, as it does on camera. Here are some of the cards. If you hear noise in the background, that is my Yorkie. He is having a fit right now because he wants me to play with him. And he doesn't understand, mama gotta do work, okay? So yeah, the illustrations are very, very simple. Very simple, but really extravagant. And the details to them are just so nice. And I wanted to share, look, clearly I have them all jumbled up, but I wanted to share a bit of the illustrations with you in case you're interested in expanding your collection. I wouldn't recommend this deck per se for someone who is dipping their toes into reading. I mean, you can. I don't want to steer anyone away from what they're intuitively called for. If you have been intuitively called for this deck and you stumble upon this video because you want to learn more, and you're at whatever stage of development in your intuitive and divination journey, then just know that this deck has chosen you, regardless of whatever the F I'm saying, okay? This deck has chosen you, but I would recommend that this is much more, I guess, I would say, advanced. This is really all about, because there's really not much to go about it. You know, it's detailed in terms of the colors, but as far as symbolism, there isn't too much. It's pretty straightforward, wouldn't you say? Pretty straightforward. So this is very much a deck of intuition and using your intuitive guidance for it. Okay, so here's the booklet that it came with. It actually comes in probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different languages, and so the portion in English is very, very short. It does give you different types of spreads, so if you want to play around with those spreads. I thought this spread was really interesting because the spread they're recommending is you pull out, you shuffle, and you pull out 8 cards right off the bat. You intuitively pull whatever 8 cards you're gravitating to, and then you lay out the remaining of the 30 minus the 8. So that's 22 cards. The rest of the 22, you lay them out according to the position. So 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, etc. as you draw them out. And if I remember correctly, I haven't tried this spread yet that they recommend. I thought it was really interesting. But as you go along, you realize the 8 cards that you intuitively dealt out and put to the side, those are the messages that are supposed to come through for you, as opposed to the actual spread, I believe. One of the purposes of this divination deck is to invoke and utilize his energy, if you want to work with Nostradamus and his energy. I have yet to do that. I'm not sure if I will. I feel like I'm very, very curious to see what intuitive insight he can provide. For the most part, I've been using my own insight. But anyways, within the booklet, really short descriptions, really short, straightforward, to the point. And as you know, divination, whatever card deck you're using, is truly all about interpretation and using your intuitive guidance and your higher self. So that's really the fun in this deck. So if you want something challenging, I guess you could say a deck that's a little bit more challenging and gives you more free will and more creative expression to work with your higher self and with divine, then this is a deck that I would recommend. But thank you guys for tuning into this unboxing. Nice and sweet. I don't know why I really love the contrast of this burgundy and like goldish yellow. It's super retro. All right, you guys, hit subscribe if you like this video. Otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram. Check out my podcast, Better Work Bitch. You can find me on Patreon if you want more resources. And I'm wishing you a happy Mercury retrograde season. Deuces.